I've had a lot of people ask me about Amazon ads, and today I'm going to take you through a complete ad guide using Amazon AMS ads. So first of all, why are we using Amazon AMS ads? The main reason is that when people are searching on Amazon, they're already on Amazon, they're looking for books, they're searching for something that they want to buy. So from a marketing perspective, they're already in that kind of consumer mindset. And instead of targeting people on Google and on Facebook, when you're targeting people on Amazon, you're actively targeting shoppers who are looking for your book. In today's video, we're going to go completely through all of the different options in the Amazon Ads console, and I'm going to show you every single ad that I create for a book. Hopefully this in-depth video will help you. It can take a little bit of time to set all of the ads up, especially if you want to do it for every book, but I'm also going to share some tips and tricks to save some time at the end. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to use this book, Dogs in Space, a colouring book. This is one that I made a few months ago. It's not been selling incredibly well, but it has been getting a few sales. I'm going to show you every single ad unit that I would create for this book. By doing a lot of different ad units, we minimise the risk on losing money on ads, and we might be able to get cheaper clicks as well. So here's the book that we're going to go with, Dogs in Space, and let's go on to our first ad unit. So I've actually already set up ads for this in the US marketplace. So we're going to go with the UK Amazon AMS console. So if you've not seen it before, this is the ads platform on Amazon. You can get here either through your KDP bookshelf in the marketing section, or you can go to advertising.amazon.com.co.uk, whichever marketplace you want to create ads for. One little tip is that you need to create ads for different marketplaces. So for example, if you've got a US book, you want to do that in .com, but it might be worthwhile doing some low bids on .co.uk, .canada, .australia, for example. So first thing to do is click Create Campaign. And in here, you've got two options. This is your first choice. You can either do sponsored products or sponsored brands. Sponsored products is advertising your single book, whereas sponsored brand is advertising multiple books within a brand. So, for example, if you've got a series of books, sponsored brands might work well for you and it might be worthwhile testing, but we're going to focus on sponsored products today in order to sell your single books. So when you're in your ad group, you need to find your product and click Add. You need to give your ad group a name. I'd recommend, seeing as you're probably going to be creating quite a lot of ads, make it clear what product it is and what type of ad it is. So there are basically 4 different types of ads that you can create. When you're creating manually, you can either create a keyword ad where people are searching for that word in the Amazon search bar, a product ad which will appear on the kind of the sponsored products underneath another book, and a category ad which will appear when you're searching by the categories on Amazon. The fourth one is actually an automatic one. I found that these can be a bit expensive and the search terms can be a bit wide, but they can be really useful to help you find what people are searching for, what works for your book. But the auto ads I kind of almost see as a bit of a test. If you're willing to spend, say, $20, $30 on an auto campaign, see if anything is selling on those, you can then take what's working and put it in a manual ad. That will be more targeted and it'll be more profitable for you. So starting with a keyword campaign, we come down to targeting, we click manual. I'll show you automatic later, but for now our kind of first 3 will be manual. You click on keyword targeting. Amazon will give you some suggested topics. Generally these are quite wide and not really what we want to be doing. So looking here, you've got adult colouring books, mindfulness, sloth colouring book, see, sausage dog colouring books, not too bad, dog colouring. But generally, you want to be entering your own list. So I will click Enter List. And then what you want to make sure you're doing is changing your custom or default bid. If you don't change this bid, you will see here what happens. So if you don't change your bid, Amazon will suggest what bid it should be. So here, for example, it's quite high. It'll be even higher in the .com. So this might be sort of 60 cents in Amazon.com. But here, if you're going with suggested bid, it's gone 29, 24, 20p. So we're going to get rid of those. And what we're going to do is do a custom bid. And I might do 21 pence on that. What I like to do is change the custom and default just in case I've clicked something wrong. You know, I'm on the wrong one. It's just a nice kind of like safety net for me. So I like to change them both. And then we're going to go find our keywords. There are tools out there that you can use in order to find keywords. One that I use sometimes is Publisher Rocket. What Publisher Rocket allows you to do is search for a keyword and it will tell you the competitiveness of that keyword, how many searches that's getting per month, and how much you can expect to make using that keyword if you're ranking. So that's a really, really useful tool. But for those of you who don't want to pay out for Publisher Rocket, there's an easy, simple way to see what people are searching for directly on Amazon. So if you go to the search bar and you start searching for the types of keywords you think people are going to be searching for. So here we've got a dog colouring book basically. So we type dog colouring book in and then all of these suggestions come up. That means that people are searching for these because Amazon is auto-populating them. So we can see here, this dog colouring book that I'm advertising is made for adults. So we're going to niche down a little bit further. Dog colouring book for adults. Here you can see the types of searches that people are making for your kind of like top level. So dog colouring books for adults is definitely one of our keywords. We can see people are searching for that. So we're going to add that in. And then on here, Amazon will also suggest some keywords as well. So if they work for you, I would suggest adding all keywords in that list. And you can see here, they all look fine. I'll delete the ones that don't make sense, but for me, they all look good for me. So here I've tried fun dog colouring book, nothing's coming up. So the search volume for that's probably quite low. I'm just trying a few things here and seeing what's coming up basically. So animal colouring book for adults. You've got a few things coming up here like cute animal books for adults, animal colouring book for adults. So I'm going to add those in. And seeing as my book is a Dogs in Space colouring book, I'm also going to do that as well. So that's a start to the keywords. So at the moment we've got 8. I would probably try and do maybe 20 or so just to make sure that I've got a decent volume of keywords to start serving. But for this video, I think that's enough to get going. So looking now at the match type, you've got broad, phrase, and exact. The exact options tend to be a little bit cheaper, but the broad will get more impressions. So how this works is that the exact will only serve your book as an ad if someone types that exactly as you've put. The phrase is if they've used your keywords there within a search. So they could put, for example, if you've got dog colouring book for adults, they could search dog colouring books for adults and teens and kids, and then that one would serve. And the broad is using any of those keywords in any order. So for example, broad could be someone searching colouring book dog for adults. So it's useful to have all of them there. And basically when you add your keywords, it will add 3 of each line. So you can see here, you've got all of these keywords, all with a broad, phrase and exact. And you can see how these are doing after your ads start running. And you can see here, this is why we didn't do the suggested bid, because the suggested bid on this is actually 73 pence, which is, far too expensive. What I found is when you launch your keyword ad units, you might want to go a bit higher at first, see them start getting impressions and clicks, and then reduce them down. Because if you go too low, Amazon are just not going to serve your ads. And it seems to me how Amazon works with these keywords ads is if they're getting clicks, if they're getting sales, Amazon then pushes them even more and even harder so that when you reduce your bid, they still serve. So I've actually found when you go higher to begin with, say we started at sort of 40p, that it's more likely to serve, and then I will bring them down over a few days. But for this one, we're going to start with 21 pence as the bid and see if we get any results. Scrolling down below, you have a negative keyword targeting. So for example, if your book was specifically for adults and you didn't want people finding children's colouring books because it's going to waste you a click, you can enter that here. So I don't mind people finding this book for kids because kids would enjoy it too, but I don't want anyone searching dog colouring book toddler, dog colouring book infant, dog colouring book preschool. So I'm going to add those there as a negative search term. So that means if someone's searching dog colouring book toddler, my ad won't come up. Scrolling down, you've then got the bidding strategy. So this is where you need to be really, really careful with your ads. But you've got the up and down, which is set by default. So our bid we've put here of 21 pence. The up and down will actually increase or decrease it by a maximum of 100%. So your 21 pence bid will actually go up to 42 pence. So you can experiment with these, but just be wary that if you're using the up and down bid, the amount you can actually go up to per click is double what you've put. Just for ease for this one, we're going to put down only. The down only will have that 21 pence as the ceiling of what the bid can be. So some clicks might be cheaper, they may end up being like 18p, 17p, but overall the cost per click will be at max that 21 pence. You can also experiment with fixed bids if you know exactly what you want to pay per click. So you could set that to say like 18p, and every single click you get will be at that 18p. If you enter your campaign name again here, you can add it to a portfolio. So say if you're selling colouring books, you're selling activity books, you're selling high content, you're selling journals. Maybe you want to create a portfolio for each, and that way you can keep it nice and tidy in your Amazon ads dashboard. But for now, we're just going to go with this one. You want to give it a good few months. I'll run this ad up until Christmas, so it makes sense to do it until the end of the year. And then a daily budget. As long as you're not doing really high bids, I wouldn't worry about this. I've personally found that Amazon struggles to spend your money. Whereas if you've ever done Facebook ads, for example, if you put £100 a day on Facebook, they'll spend it somehow. Whereas on Amazon, I could put £100 a day and I'll probably end up only using about £1 or £2 per day on this ad. But you only really need to do £5 or £10 to start with. I'll put a tenner in there and we'll click launch campaign. Running for around 6 months, £10 budget a day, dynamic down bids only. We could have also added another section where you increase the bid by a percentage. If it's at the top of search page or on a product page, we'll do that for the next ad. I'll show you how to do that. And yeah, we're going to create the next ad now. So again, a sponsored product. This time we're going to do a product ad. So again, it's exactly the same thing as we did last time. We're going to scroll down, do manual targeting again, but this time we're going to go to product targeting. And then as you see here, you can either target categories, which we'll do next, or individual products. So we go across to individual products. It will suggest some here, but for us, we probably want to go on the search. Again, we're going to change the bids. I find that the products are cheaper, like much cheaper than the keywords generally. So you can actually go quite low with this. If, for example, you've got like a key 10 books that you really want to appear as the sponsored products underneath, you might want to go a bit higher with the bids. But what I found works quite well with the product listings is going quite wide, adding maybe like 100 products, 200 products, and going quite low with the bids. So for this, I'm going to go 12 pence. And I'm going to search for some dog colouring books that look the same sort of thing. You can filter by exact or expanded, which is quite a new thing on the Amazon Ads console. It only used to be exact. But what the expanded does is Amazon will target books similar to that to help your ads reach more people. So if you're sure that you only want to target a certain book, click exact, or else it's going to be expanded. So we're going to start off by searching for dog colouring book for adults. An easy thing to do would just be to add all, which will add these 50 on the first page. So I'm just going to scroll down, make sure that these look okay. They all look okay. Maybe apart from that one there. Yeah, these all look okay. So I'm going to add all, and then I'm just going to remove that colouring set. Actually, you know what? I'll leave it in just to test it, because if someone's searching for colouring pens, maybe they also want a colouring book. By the time you get to the second page, the searches are probably a little less relevant. So I'm going to go through individually and add some more here. Funny pug colouring book. There we go. Going to add anything that looks pretty relevant. So I don't want a kid's colouring book, but anything that involves dogs, maybe involves cats. So basically anything relevant to our book, we are going to add here. Especially if it's a bit funny, like this dog fart colouring book. I think that's a good one to target. There we go. And as you can see here, they've all got their own suggested bids. So that's why I set my own bids, just ease of control and make sure I'm not overbidding for them. But as a tip, the main ones that you probably want to target are the ones with a lot of reviews. That means they're getting a lot of clicks, a lot of purchases. A lot of people will be on those. So if you're targeting, you know, here we go, this book here with no reviews, you don't really know without going onto the product page how much that's selling. Whereas if you're targeting this one here with 17,800 reviews, you know people are buying that book. So you're going to get more eyes, more impressions, and hopefully more clicks. Okay, so that's 66 products added. That'll do for now. If I was doing this a bit more, I'd probably go to between 100 and 200, but you can experiment all you want with that. You could literally just go through, add all, make it nice and quick if you really wanted to. But I find like the more effort that you put in at this stage, the better the results will be. So again, we're going to go to down only, but here we're actually going to adjust the bid, which we didn't do last time. You can increase the bid by the placement. So we're doing a product listing here, so I don't think the top search page is really relevant. So I'll leave that off. But here, if we want to appear on the product pages, you can increase the bid. So for product, I don't really think it's worthwhile adjusting. But if you're doing keywords and you really want to appear at the top of search on the first page, then you might want to increase your bid. Okay, so we want to name it again, set an end date, and also set a daily budget. And then we're on to the next campaign. And here we go. We've now done a keyword ad and we've done a product ad. Now it's time to do a category ad. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We select our product, we go to manual targeting, product targeting, but then down here we're going to do an ad by category. So before, where we targeted individual books, this is going to target an individual category. So here you can see, for example, it's got suggestions based on the book. So it's took the keywords like dog, colouring, etc. and it's given me these suggestions. So we've got dog care, probably not the right thing, new age meditation and meditation. They might not be the right categories for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the custom bid again. I find that these bids kind of serve in the middle of keywords and products. So you're targeting less categories, so your bid might need to be a bit higher than it is on the products. But again, have a test, see what's working. You can bump up your bids, bump them down, see what's kind of working for you. But here we're going to search for colouring books. And this is the exact right category for us to target. Here you've got colouring books for grown-ups. So we're going to target that with this one. And we're going to scroll down and see if there's anything else. We've got children's colouring books, which we don't want. Mandalas and patterns for grown-ups. So we might want to test that and see if it works. And hair colouring, which isn't right. But let's have a little look for dog and see if there's anything for like dog enthusiasts or animal enthusiasts. So you've got dog keeping, dog care, dog supplies. I don't really think any of these are relevant to our books, so I wouldn't recommend putting your colouring book in an area where it's not, it's not relevant. It's going to be a bad consumer experience and you're probably just going to end up wasting the money. So we've got our 2 categories here. And we're going to go down, we're going to click down only again. This one I'm actually going to increase the top of search because I want my book to be there on the first page of, the adult colouring book section. And we're just going to name it again. And that is the category ad set up. Finally, we've got one more ad unit that we're going to go through, and then I'm also going to show you a tip of kind of like one of my best performing ad units as well. So going back, we're going to go through the same process again. It can be a little bit repetitive, but this time we're going to do an auto campaign. A lot of people just do an auto campaign per book. And why that is because the auto campaign will do everything that we've just done. It will serve for keywords, it will serve for products, and it will serve for categories. However, it's going to go very, very wide. You're going to get a lot of unwanted clicks for kind of search terms that you're not wanting to appear for. It's going to put you on books which might not be relevant. You saw the kind of suggested keywords, suggested products that it had. They weren't quite right. So I do find like manual targeting will give you the best results, but also can be useful. And it's maybe worthwhile just giving it a go and seeing how it performs for you. So here we go, auto targeting. You set your default bid. We're going to go 21 pence. We are going to do a couple of negative keywords in here, like again, infant, toddler. Add those. You can make sure you're not targeting a specific book. So why this is useful is, say if your auto ad's been running for a few weeks and you're getting a lot of clicks but no sales on a certain book, you can copy and paste that title or ASIN in here, and then this auto ad will stop serving against that product. Again, we're going to go down, £10 budget, and as you can see by this one, the auto ad is actually a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. It doesn't take any research. It's just set it up and you're done. And here we go. So in here we have searched for our keyword dogs in space within the Amazon console. And these are the 4 ads that we've set up. We've got a keyword ad, a product ad, a category ad, and an auto ad. So what we would probably want to do now is give this a few days to see if it starts serving. I found on Amazon, some ads can even take up to like a week to start getting any impressions. But if they don't really get any impressions for a few days, you might want to go back in and increase the bids just a little bit. Even if it's just 1 or 2 cents, 1 or 2p bumping, and that might help Amazon to start serving those ads. And then if you come back to these after a week and you're not really getting any clicks, you're only getting a few impressions, you might want to start expanding your search terms. So you might want to add more keywords, you might want to add more products, maybe you can test some additional categories, and maybe you go back in the auto ad, see what's working on that one and add those into your individual manual campaigns as well. So if I'm wanting to sell a book and also not lose too much money doing so, this is the exact setup I would do for all of my books. 4 campaigns for every single book, and then I would come onto my Amazon's dashboard at least once a day and see what the results are. So we're going to have a look at a football crossword book that I've done. I actually ended up turning off the category ad because it wasn't profitable, and the auto ad just wasn't serving very well. So if we go back over the last 30 days, we can see how these 2 ads are running. So this is quite a low priced book, so the bids have to be pretty low. So you can see here, the book sells for £5.99. I probably only make maybe about £1.40, about $1.10 per book. So the ACoS needs to be really low in order to be profitable. So that means that we're not getting tons and tons of impressions, but we are being profitable on this book. So as you can see here, in the last 30 days, we have had 9 clicks and 2 orders at a 10.6% ACoS, which is really, really profitable. We could look at this and think, right, maybe I'm happy for the ACoS to go up a little bit. And so in order to do that, I might click in this keyword ad group, click on targeting. And as you can see in here, my bids are 23 pence, but we're not getting that many clicks. We're not getting that many impressions, but we are selling quite well. We're converting well. So this one had 2 clicks and 1 sale. So that one, for example, is saying suggested bid 27 pence. So I will boost that up closer to the suggested bid, and then hopefully we will start serving more, getting more impressions, getting more clicks and getting more sales. That's kind of what you do with your ads. You tinker, you see what's working, and then especially the other way around as well. If you're bidding 50 cents per search term and you've got 20 clicks and no sales, you're going to be wasting a lot of money. So you need to be going into your ads, seeing what's working, seeing what's not working, and tinkering and adjusting them to make sure that they're working for you. What I've found is some ads just will not be profitable. This could be because it's in an area that no one's really searching for a book no one's really looking for, especially if it's like a seasonal book. So you're not going to sell a Christmas book in February, for example. Or it could be the other way around. You're in a really, really competitive niche. So say, this is a football crossword book, which actually does quite well. But say if I make a football journal, which is super easy to make, there's tons of them on the market. If I was in that niche, I would have to bid much higher in order to appear, which means my cost per clicks would be greater, which means my ACoS would be higher, which means I'd be less profitable on my books. And if you're in a really competitive niche, sometimes you need to bid like 60, 70 cents or pence in order to appear in the keywords and as sponsored products. So it's all about trying to find that nice balance of an area, a niche that people are searching for, that people want, but one that's not too competitive. So colouring books can be quite competitive. So the dog colouring book, for example, I think the bids on that will end up being quite high because a lot of people make dog colouring books. But if I was making a pug colouring book or a Labrador colouring book, those kind of niche down further, search terms for like a pug colouring book, a Labrador colouring book, are probably going to be cheaper bids than, a broader dog colouring book. So that's something to consider. It's niching down either by like the topic, or if you're finding like dog colouring books for adults are really expensive in terms of bids, maybe then you can start doing dog colouring books for seniors, for infants, for toddlers, for kids, looking into what people are searching for, but then also what doesn't cost you a lot of money bids wise. And that kind of shows the importance of researching before you start going with your books. Okay, so at the beginning of the video, I said that I would give you one of my best tips and tricks for helping you to sell more books at a low cost per click. This isn't a new ad unit. This is using the ad units we've just done, but in a slightly different way. This is creating a lottery ad. These work in one of two ways. Either you include a lot of books or you include a lot of search terms and products, and then you have a very low bid on those. Here's one, for example, with my high content book, The United World. I've just got one book in here. It's a product ad. So I've got a lot of targets in here. I've got 1,000 products that are like The United World. And as you can see, I'm bidding very, very low on these, 6 pence, and it's a down bid. So some of these might end up, you can see here, cost per click, 3 pence per click. So if I am getting a sale every 10 clicks, I'm going to have a very, very good ACoS on that. Another way to approach the lottery ad slightly differently is still by having a lot of targets, but also by including a lot of different books. So here on this lottery ad, I've got a lot of my books. I've got 7 colouring books on here for keyword targeting. But if I go to the targeting, you can see that my bid is really, really low. It's 11 pence on these keyword targets, which is really low for colouring books. But because I've got 7 targets on there, it just gives Amazon more chance to serve this ad. And so I'm actually just going to bump this up to 12p just to see if that helps get more impressions. But one way of increasing this lottery ad and making it even better would be to add more keywords. So I've currently got 20 keywords on here. Ideally for a lottery ad, you'd want to have as many keywords that are relevant as possible. So I might go back in here and add another 20, 30 keywords, and then that will help it serve a bit better. So this lottery ad so far, I launched it a month ago. It's had 6 clicks, no orders yet, but you can see it's only spent 44 pence. So it's not a big spender, and I can afford to go a bit higher with the bids, add more keywords, and hopefully it will serve a bit better. Okay, so that was my Amazon ads tutorial. Let's take a quick look at my ads overall and see how we're doing for the month of June so far. Most of my ads run in the .com marketplace. That's where I target a lot more of my sales. And so if we're looking at June so far, so we're currently halfway through June, I've actually spent $250, which is a ton of money, and had 52 orders at an ACOS of just under 60%. That is not profitable. And so what we can do is come down here and see which ads are serving really well, but maybe not getting the correct ACOS, what's performing better, what's performing worse, and we can go in and adjust those accordingly. So if we sort this by spend, we can see which ads are spending the most money and which ones are profitable, etc. So this Monsters Keywords ad is running at an ACOS of 89%, which is really not profitable. This book needs an ACOS of around 30-35% to break even. And so we're losing a lot of money on that book. But I am investing in these keywords for that book because I'm hoping that the more sales we get through these keywords, the better we're going to rank for those search terms. And because it's a Monsters one for Halloween, the hope is I'm going to spend a bit more money on it now in hopes that we get more organic sales come Halloween, for example. Again, we're doing the same thing with this creepy keywords book for Halloween, where we're overspending in hope that we get more back in sales come Halloween. But especially with the products ads and the category ads, they want to be profitable. So we can see here, this Creepy Monsters product ad is currently running at 71% ACOS. That's not profitable for us at all. So we are going to go in and adjust those bids. So they are currently set at 17 cents, but this one is an up and down. Bidding strategy. So that 17 cents is actually 34 cents bid. So we're going to reduce that down to 13 cents, which means the max it will bid is 26 cents. So that's that one done. You can see here what the average cost per click is. It's 18 cents, which isn't bad, but the conversion rate on these just isn't great. You know, we've got 2 orders from 64 clicks, which, you know, is not great. We need our cost per click to be really, really low for that to be effective. So we can come down here and see what's getting clicks, and maybe we're targeting a little too broadly. Maybe some of the targeting is not really working. What I like to do is, so let's go back, expand this for the year to date and see what is getting clicks and what's not getting orders. I'd always advise to give a target 10 clicks to see if it can get an order, because a 10-to-1 clicks to order ratio will generally be profitable. So as we can see here, this second one has 7 clicks and 1 order at a 17.7% ACOS. So that's exactly what we want. But these ones here, we've got 7 clicks, 6 clicks, 4 clicks, but no orders. I'm going to leave those to run a little bit longer until they get to 10 clicks. And if we've got no sales by 10 clicks, I will just turn them off. So we look at the ACOS here. So actually over the year, the ACOS is 50%, which isn't as bad as this month. But if we come back in a few weeks' time, fingers crossed the ACOS will be closer to that 30% mark. I really hope that this video was useful. If you want to create your own ads, why not rewind the video and follow along with me and create your ads along with me. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.